مرحبا واهلا وسهلا فيكم. Hope you're all well and have a wonderful day. Welcome to another session of learning Levantine Arabic. In today's session, as you see on the screen, we are going to do a general revision on tenses in Levantine Arabic, and I'm going to address the question: why should you learn your tenses and know them really well and not rely only on learning phrases? I get this question asked quite a lot when students do ask me how long will it take them to master Arabic. Learning a language is a combination of a number of things, as a lot of you may have realized that. One of its most important components, it's grammar, it's the structure, it's the fundamentals about the language. So I'm going to share a couple of thoughts I have and hopefully you enjoy them. And after that, I'll have a look at a number of tenses and, as usual, lots of examples. Let's get started. The first one is, why should you learn and know these tenses while learning? The first one is effective communication. Learning all these tenses will enable you, the student, the learner, to convey when actions or events occur, whether it's in the past, present, and future, thus making their communication clearer and understandable. You need to have the tool rather than learning the phrase by itself. I know the phrase might be good for a short period of time, but when it comes for you to communicate on a variety of actions and events, you definitely need to know your tenses. Secondly, when knowing these tenses, and of course this goes without saying because a proper use of tenses helps understand the context of conversations, stories, and writing these texts. Avoid the confusion about time-related events. For example, it happens a lot, and we tend to do it from time to time, regardless of your level, when you mix your tenses. You're trying to say the present tense, but all your conjugations are in the past tense. So, in order to understand the context, you need to get your tenses right to avoid any confusion or misunderstanding. Thirdly, a grammar foundation. These tenses are core aspects of grammar in most languages, and it is absolutely important for you to build up this strong language foundation when it comes to learning all these tenses and more advanced language structures. So it is inevitable, and it is the core for any language for you to understand how the grammar works and how these things are actually connected together to form speech. Fourthly, expressing time relationships. So students can express complex relationships between events such as actions happening before, during, or after another event, using the perfect tense or the perfect continuous tenses. So when you try to kind of relay or connect these actions to certain tenses, it goes without saying, if you pick the right tense, then everything will be clear. So the expression of time relationships, it's absolutely so important and vital to connect or be able to express complex relationships between events and actions, whether they're happening before, during, or after another event. All of these inevitably will improve fluency. The correct use of tenses will definitely enhance the fluency and make your speech and writing sound more natural and more polished rather than sounding a little bit more archaic. I understand we all start from somewhere, but knowing these tenses, it will dramatically improve your fluency. All of this, it will lead to academic and professional success. In formal settings like essays, exams, or workplace communication, correct use of tenses demonstrates language proficiency and professionalism. And of course, learning these tenses, ultimately, it will reveal masses of differences and similarities and how different cultures perceive and express time and actions. And I'm sure a lot of you know it when it comes to these cultural differences and similarities between Arabic and other nations. And, probably you've seen a lot of it on social media when people try to make like a comedy or make fun out of it. But I'm afraid this is the reality and this is life. And these are the differences and the similarities between Arabic and other cultures. So this will definitely help you to understand. And of course, it goes without saying, your reading comprehension. Understanding tenses, it will help you regardless whether you're a student or you're just a learner or you're a heritage learner or you've got Arabic background. It will help you to interpret and analyze text accurately, especially in narratives and historical accounts. I could recall when teaching at university, there's a lot of text related to literature, poetry, and other old texts where the meaning gets lost. But knowing these tenses, it makes it much, much clearer. And of course, all of this would lead to avoid any miscommunication. Misuse of these tenses could definitely lead to misunderstandings. Mastering these tenses will ensure a clarity in your conversation, and definitely this would reflect on your writing. And of course, altogether, this will enhance and will help students in expressing emotions and intentions. Knowing these old tenses, students will be able to express their feelings, their intentions, their hypothetical scenarios, which are, of course, crucial for meaningful interaction. And of course, and it goes without saying, mastering your tenses, it will help you massively. It will help you massively with your exams and certifications. Many standardized language tests assess the use of correct tenses as a part of evaluating their language fluency. So it's really important to get your tenses right, because when it comes to exams, they will definitely test you. They will definitely test you on your tenses, and this is a part of this evaluating language proficiency. So you need to get them right. Last but not least, and we've reached to the end of these points, will enhance your creativity. Learning and knowing these tenses will enable students to write stories, describe plans, or imagine alternate realities, fostering creative expression in the new language. So it will definitely help you. It will definitely help you to improve your creativity when, of course, when you master all these tenses, you will be able to form and write stories in more or higher form than somebody else who doesn't. You'll be able to manipulate the text, you'll be able to change or bring forward some of these tenses or delay them. So definitely it will enhance your creativity. And as now we've covered these important points from my perspective, and I definitely agree from another teacher's perspective, regardless whether they're teaching English or Arabic or any other languages. And now with that out of the way, we're going to do a quick revision on all these tenses, and I'll give you some examples. I will translate them word for word. However, the overall translation, it will be shown at the end along with all these examples, simply because I couldn't fit everything on the same screen you see in front of you. Talking about screens, I would highly recommend that you watch on an iPad or a computer, simply because the iPhone screen or the smartphones these days, the screen is quite small. So, of course, the text will appear or will show small. All you need to do is to watch it on a bigger screen. I know I get asked this a lot, so please watch it on an iPad or a computer screen. Let's get started. We are going to kick off by looking at these tenses, and we're going to start with the present tense. All these tenses were written in English tenses, but we do use pretty much the same or similarly in Levantine Arabic or generally in Arabic. So the tenses as you see on the top there, these are the English tenses, and I'll show you how we use something equivalent or the equivalent of that in Arabic. So the first one is a simple present tense using the first form, S-O-E-S. We've got an example here for you. She reads every day. And the Arabic, هي بتقرأ كل يوم. هي بتقرأ كل يوم. And of course, the present tense, a lot of you know, we use it to describe a habitual or regular action. And below I've got 3 more examples for you. أنا بروح على الشغل كل يوم. أنا بروح على الشغل كل يوم. أنا بروح على الشغل كل يوم. I go to work every day. هي بتطبخ أكل طيب. هي بتطبخ أكل طيب. هي بتطبخ, she cooks. أكل طيب, delicious food. إحنا بنلعب كرة قدم بعد الظهر. إحنا بنلعب كرة قدم بعد الظهر. إحنا بنلعب, we play كرة قدم, football, بعد الظهر, in the afternoon. Next, we've got the present continuous is are plus the first form and ing, That is in English, but we do have the equivalent in Levantine Arabic. And I have covered these tenses all individually. So this is a revision for all these tenses. And what do we have? The equivalent, or how do we form the equivalent, just to bear that in mind and clear any confusion here. I am eating lunch now. أنا عم باكل غدا هلا. أنا عم باكل غدا هلا. So أنا, I am, عم, that's the equivalent of ing, باكل, eating, غدا is lunch, هلا, right now. A lot of people, when they talk, they drop the B, so they don't really use it, and that is absolutely up to you, whether you keep the B or delete it. And of course, the explanation, when do we use the present continuous? We use it to describe or describes an ongoing action happening right now. I've got 3 more examples for you. أنا عم بكتب رسالة. أنا عم بكتب رسالة. I am writing a letter. عم بكتب, writing. عم is ing, or the equivalent of ing. بكتب is the present tense. Both together is the present continuous. رسالة is a letter. هن عم يلعبوا برا. هن عم يلعبوا برا. They are playing outside. عم يلعبوا, they are playing. So that's the present continuous. برا, outside. هي عم بتغني أغنية حلوة. هي عم بتغني أغنية حلوة. هي, she. عم, ing. بتغني, sings. عم بتغني, she sings. أغنية, a song. حلوة, beautiful. Again, that is the present continuous. Next, we've got the present perfect, has, have, with a third person form. We've got the English example. She has already finished her homework. And in Levantine Arabic, we say, هي خلصت واجبها. هي خلصت واجبها. And the explanation for this tense describes an action completed recently or with relevance to the present. I have got 3 examples for you. أنا خلصت شغلي. أنا خلصت شغلي. I have finished my work. هن أكلوا الغداء. هن أكلوا الغداء. They've already ate lunch. إحنا رتبنا البيت. إحنا رتبنا البيت. We have already tidied the house. إحنا رتبنا البيت. We've already tidied the house. The onyx tense is the present perfect continuous, which is the use of has, have, been, plus the first form plus ing. We've got the English example. They have been studying since morning. And in Arabic we say, هن صار لهم عم بيدرسوا من الصبح. هن صار لهم عم بيدرسوا من الصبح. And the explanation of this tense, it describes an action that started in the past and still continuing. I've got 3 examples for you. هو صار له عم يقرأ من الصبح. هو صار له عم يقرأ من الصبح. He has been studying, or he has been reading since morning. أنا صار لي عم بتفرج على التلفزيون ساعة. أنا صار لي عم بتفرج على التلفزيون ساعة. أنا صار لي, I have been, عم بتفرج, watching, على التلفزيون, TV, ساعة, an hour. So the way we form the present perfect continuous is we use صار, صارلي, conjugated with the appropriate possessive pronoun, which refers or goes back or related to the subject pronoun. So the O, it's the object pronoun for he, third person, which is similar to the possessive pronouns. And equally, صار, صار, and صارلي, which means I have been. So, in order to form the present perfect continuous, which I've mentioned previously, is the conjugation of صار plus the appropriate object pronoun or possessive pronoun, plus the عم, which refers to ing, plus the present tense. That's how it works. And the overall translation, I've been watching TV for an hour. Our third example, هي صار لها عم تطبخ من امبارح. هي صار لها عم تطبخ من امبارح. هي صار لها, she has been, عم تطبخ, cooking, من امبارح, since yesterday. She's been cooking since yesterday. And now we're going to look at the past tenses. Our first one is the past simple or simple past. We've got an English example. I saw her yesterday. أنا شفتها مبارح. أنا شفت مبارح. And of course, the explanation for this tense describes a completed action in the past. I've got 3 more examples for you. أنا زرت أهلي الأسبوع الماضي. أنا زرت أهلي الأسبوع الماضي. أنا زرت I visited أهلي my family الأسبوع الماضي last week. Our next example. هي غسلت السيارة. هي غسلت السيارة. هي غسلت she washed السيارة the car. Our third example. احنا اشترينا أواعي جديدة. احنا اشترينا أواعي جديدة. احنا اشترينا we bought أواعي clothes جديدة new. So اشترينا, that's the verb in the past tense. غسلت, that's the verb in the past tense. And زرت or زرت, that's the verb in the past tense, which means I visited. Our next tense we are going to look at it is the past continuous, which is was, where, the first person form plus ing. We've got examples here for you. She was cooking when I arrived. هي كانت عم تطبخ لما وصلت. هي كانت عم تطبخ لما وصلت. So as you see, that's the past, was or where. Cooking, عم تطبخ. So of course it will be followed by the present tense. عم تطبخ, cooking, لما, when, وصلت, I arrived. And the explanation for this tense, it describes an action that was ongoing in the past when another action occurred. I've got 3 more examples for you. أنا كنت عم بدرس لما رن التليفون. أنا كنت عم بدرس لما رن التليفون. أنا كنت I was عم بدرس studying لما when rang التليفون the phone when the phone rang. هي كانت عم تطبخ الغدا لما اجيت. هي كانت عم تطبخ الغدا لما اجيت. هي كانت she was عم تطبخ cooking الغدا lunch لما when اجيت I came when I came back home. Our third example. احنا كنا عم نحكي وقت المطر. احنا كنا we were عم نحكي talking we were talking وقت المطر when it was raining or during the rain. مطر is rain and what is time. So here I would like you to notice how do we form the past continuous, which is always can or كنت plus the present tense conjugated with am, so that's the present continuous, followed by the rest of the sentence. Our next text, which is formed by had, the third person form. In English, we've got this example. He had left before I came. He had left before I came. And in Levantine Arabic we say هو كان رايح قبل ما اجي. هو كان رايح قبل ما اجي. هو كان رايح, he had left, قبل ما, before اجي, to come, before I came. So as you see there, we've used the active participle. And an explanation for this tense, it describes an action completed before another past action. I've got 3 more examples for you. أنا كنت غسلت السيارة قبل ما يسافر. أنا كنت غسلت السيارة قبل ما يسافر. أنا كنت غسلت السيارة. I had washed السيارة the car قبل ما, before يسافر, he traveled, before he traveled. Our next example. هي كانت رتبت الغرفة قبل ما يجوا الضيوف. هي كانت رتبت الغرفة قبل ما يجوا الضيوف. هي كانت رتبت, she had tidied, she had tidied الغرفة the room قبل ما, before يجوا, to come, الضيوف the guests. She had cleaned or tidied the room before the guests came. هن كانوا خلصوا الأكل قبل ما يوصل. هن كانوا خلصوا الأكل قبل ما يوصل. هن كانوا خلصوا, they had finished الأكل the food قبل ما يوصل, before he arrived. So as you see the tenses, you see it's always we start with verb to be can conjugated according to the person and it must agree, then followed by the past tense, and then the rest of the sentence should be pretty much the same. Our next tense is the past perfect continuous, and as you see is had been plus the first form ing. You see, slowly this started to make sense, and once you compare all of these tenses, it will sink in but all you need to do is to go over it a number of times and try to make some examples, guys. And I've written you at least for each tense 4 examples. And the English example is, they had been waiting for hours before I arrived. And in Arabic we say, هن صار لهم ناطرين ساعات قبل ما يوصل. هن صار لهم ناطرين ساعات قبل ما يوصل. هن صار لهم, they had been, ناطرين, waiting, ساعات, hours, قبل ما, before, يوصل, he arrived. And the explanation, this tense describes an action that was ongoing in the past up until another past action. I've got 3 more examples for you, so I would like you to always to use these examples as a template where you will be able to form your own sentences, and don't forget to write some if you would like. The first example, أنا صار لي عم بكتب ساعة قبل ما يوصل. أنا صار لي عم بكتب ساعة قبل ما يوصل. أنا صار لي, I have been, عم بكتب, writing, I have been writing. أنا صار لي عم بكتب, I have been writing. So you see the use or the clear use of صار to refer to have been, which is the perfect tense. ساعة, an hour or for an hour. قبل ما يوصل, before he arrived. Our second example, هي كانت صار لها عم تشتغل سنتين قبل ما انتقلت. هي كانت صار لها عم تشتغل سنتين قبل ما انتقلت. هي كانت صار لها, she had been, عم تشتغل, working, سنتين for 2 years, قبل ما, before انتقلت, she moved. She had been working there for 2 years before she had moved. Our third and final example, هن كانوا صار لهم عم يلعبوا قبل ما يبلش المطر. هن كانوا صار لهم عم يلعبوا قبل ما يبلش المطر. هن كانوا صار لهم, they had been, عم يلعبوا, playing, they had been playing. قبل ما يبلش, before started, المطر, the rain, before the rain had started. They had been playing before it started to rain. And now we are going to look at the future tenses, and our first one is the future simple. And we've got an English example, I will call you tomorrow. And it's simply in Arabic, you would start by the subject pronoun if you want to. رح, which doesn't get conjugated, stays the same, followed by the present tense, and that is the future tense. أنا رح أتصل فيك بكرة, I will call you tomorrow. And as we know, it describes an action that will happen in the future. And I've got 3 more examples for you. أنا رح أزور أهلي بكرة. أنا رح أزور, I will visit, أهلي, my family, بكرة, tomorrow. So this is the simple future. إحنا رح نشتري بيت جديد السنة الجاية. إحنا رح نشتري بيت جديد السنة الجاية. إحنا رح نشتري, we will buy, بيت جديد, a new house السنة الجاية, next year. Our third example, هي رح تسافر على بيروت قريبا. هي رح تسافر على بيروت قريبا. هي رح تسافر, she will travel, على بيروت, to Beirut, قريبا, soon. So as you see, it's the subject pronoun followed by رح, does not get conjugated, stays the same because it means will or shall. تسافر, that's the present tense conjugated with the actual person. على بيروت, and that is the rest of the sentence. Our next tense is the future continuous. And we use the equivalent of the English example, she will be traveling next week. And we say in Arabic, هي رح تكون عم تسافر الأسبوع الجاي. And the way we form it is the subject pronoun, رح, which means will, تكون be. The form as well gets conjugated according to the subject pronoun, and here we got she. عم, that's the ing, تسافر, that's the present tense. الأسبوع الجاي, that's next week. That's how we form it. And in terms of the explanation, describes an action that will be ongoing at a future time. I've got 3 examples for you. أنا رح كون عم بشتغل بكرة. أنا رح كون عم بشتغل بكرة. أنا رح كون, I will be, عم بشتغل, working, بكرة, tomorrow. I'll be working tomorrow. And note the be after عم, you could keep it or you can drop it if you want. Our second example, هن رح يكونوا عم يلعبوا بعد الظهر. هن رح يكونوا عم يلعبوا بعد الظهر. هن رح يكونوا, they will be, يلعبوا أو عم يلعبوا, playing, بعد الظهر, in the afternoon. They will be playing in the afternoon. Our third example, احنا رح نكون عم نطبخ لما يجوا. احنا رح نكون عم نطبخ لما يجوا. احنا رح نكون, we will be, عم نطبخ, cooking, لما يجوا, when they come. We will be cooking when they come. So as you see, it's the subject pronoun followed by رح, followed by the verb to be, كون, which would be conjugating according to the subject pronoun or the subject, followed by am, which means ing, followed by the present tense, and this is your template. That's what you need to master. Our next tense is the future perfect, and we're going to use this example. They will have finished the project by Friday. They will have finished the project by Friday. هن رح يكونوا خلصوا المشروع قبل الجمعة. هن رح يكونوا خلصوا المشروع قبل الجمعة. So as you see, it's the subject pronoun followed by رح. يكونوا, that's the verb to be conjugated in the present tense, followed by خلصوا, which is the past tense, and then we've got the rest of the sentence. And the explanation, it describes an action that will be completed before a specific time in the future. And I've got 3 more examples for you. أنا رح أكون خلصت شغلي قبل ما توصل. أنا رح أكون خلصت شغلي قبل ما توصل. أنا رح أكون, I will have been, خلصت, finished, شغلي, my work, قبل ما توصل, before you arrived. I will have finished my work before you arrive. Our second example, هي رح تكون خلصت تحضير العشاء قبل ما يرجعوا. هي رح تكون خلصت تحضير العشاء قبل ما يرجعوا. هي رح تكون, she will be or she will have, خلصت, finished, تحضير, preparing, العشاء, dinner, قبل ما يرجعوا, before they come. She will have finished preparing the dinner before they come. Our third example, احنا رح نكون كملنا المشروع قبل نهاية الشهر. احنا رح نكون كملنا المشروع قبل نهاية الشهر. احنا رح نكون, we will have finished, so كمل is to finish. احنا رح نكون كملنا, we will have finished المشروع, the project, قبل, before, نهاية, the end, الشهر, the month. We will have finished the project before the end of the month. So use these sentences as templates to follow the same steps in order to form your examples. And now we've reached the final tense of this session is the future perfect continuous. And we'll have the example of, by next year, he will have been working here for 5 years. And we say in Arabic, السنة الجاية رح يكون صار له. رح يكون صار له. So as you see, it starts with رح, future tense. يكون, that's the be. صار له, has been. عم يشتغل, working, هون, here, 5 سنين, for 5 years. So that's the template for you to use. And as you see, in terms of the explanation, it describes an ongoing action that will be completed at a certain future point, or at a certain point in the future. And I've got 3 more examples for you. هو رح يكون صار له عم يشتغل 10 سنين بالمصنع السنة الجاية. هو رح يكون صار له عم يشتغل 10 سنين بالمصنع السنة الجاية. هو رح يكون, he will be, صار له, have been, so all together, he will have been, عم يشتغل, working, 10 سنين for 10 years بالمصنع, in the factory, السنة الجاية, by next year. So by next year, he will have been working here for 10 years. هي رح تكون صار لها عم تدرس 2 قبل الامتحان. هي رح تكون صار لها عم تدرس 2 قبل الامتحان. هي رح تكون, she will be, صار لها, have been, she will have been, عم تدرس, studying, 2 2 months قبل الامتحان. So the overall translation, she will have been studying for 2 months before the exam. Our third and final example, guys. احنا رح نكون صرنا عم نبني البيت قبل ما ينتقلوا جيران. احنا رح نكون صرنا عم نبني البيت قبل ما ينتقلوا الجيران. احنا رح نكون, we will be, صرنا, have been, we will have been, عم نبني, building, البيت, the house, قبل ما ينتقلوا, before they move, الجيران, the neighbors. And the overall translation, we will have been built a house before the neighbors move in. Great, guys, and with this we'll end today's session. As you see here, we've got all the examples and the translation because I've translated them and there was no space to write the translation, the transliteration and the Arabic on the same page just because we've got limited space. So here we've got all the tenses which you can pause and write these examples down if you didn't manage to write the translation. So here you go, and all you need to do is just to go ahead and pause them. So all you need to do is just to go ahead and pause the video. As of course I'm now talking, you'll pause the video and write these and write the translation down. I hope you really enjoyed today's session and found it helpful. And if you did, then don't forget to give this session a big thumbs up and share with your friends and family, so hopefully they enjoy as much as you are. And equally, don't forget to support the channel, guys, to help me, to help you guys to make more videos for everyone. Till next time, stay safe. Ma salame.